Hey, Novel, something came in the mail for you today.
What came in the mail for me?
A brand new installment of the Cheeseburger Boys podcast.
Whoa.
So we're back again, and we did it last week, and we're going to do it again this week.
Was it actually 7 days ago?
Well, theoretically, according to the upload schedule, it will be a week.
Cool.
Thursday is going to be the day that it comes out.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what I think we decided.
Is that 4 days of production, post-production?
Yeah, making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, that sort of thing.
Sure. I know we're at the lower level stages. You know, we don't have like a camera right now.
Right.
Like in the future, you know, you got to put in clips of the thing we're talking about instead of watching us. Oh, you just hold up the thing we're talking about or whatever.
Yeah, we're doing the best with the little tools we have hanging around.
If anybody wants to send us a camera.
Yeah.
Got any extra webcams laying around?
Webcams or any brand new MacBooks or anything like that.
Any of that stuff.
Sure help this situation out. Yeah, because we're not, we're low production all the way around.
That's right.
Like we make it a weekly event to go out to the food bank. They have very good stuff, very kind people, very good food there. And this week we got a whole bunch of boxes of chocolate.
Is it Stover?
Russell Stover, yes.
Stover, not
Stover.
Stovers. That's the stuffing.
Russell Stover. Yeah, a bunch of boxes of mixed chocolates, and we decided to play a hilarious prank on our roommate Barry. We took all the boxes and dumped them into a bowl and discarded the evidence so that you couldn't find out which one was which. And that's, if anybody's looking for a hilarious prank to pull, go out and get, 10 boxes of Fannie Mae candy or Russell Stover or something, mix it in a bowl. Perfect.
You got to throw the box, the lids away so that you can't ascertain which is which.
Yeah, no CSI for that stuff.
We thought it would be funnier than it was.
Yeah,
It was still very funny to me.
The concept is funnier than how it actually all went down, because we thought, okay, we'll get him. This is going to be a hilarious prank. We'll put all the mix them all in the bowl, and then he came in and we said, here you go, try one out. And he said, oh, lovely.
We thought he'd be like, oh, I don't know which one is which. But
Yeah. No, unfortunately, we didn't get a better reaction, but fortunately, everybody got to enjoy the
Dude,
chocolate.
we ate that chocolate so fast. I knew it would happen. It was good. We need the shelf space.
Yeah, we needed the shelf space for sure.
We don't have a lot of shelf space here at the home.
Yeah, short supply.
Yeah, a lot of jars, a lot of stuff on the shelves. We need more shelves.
We have
Maybe
one
less
really
stuff.
big shelf in the middle of the room, the dining room table.
What do you think the biggest shelf in the world is?
It would have to be some kind of
Let's go to Google for this.
mountain or something. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna check it out. Biggest man-made shelf.
Yeah,
Right.
because when you think of shelf, not like a geologic term.
Right.
Biggest shelf in the world is the thing. You think it's going to be like some oversized, like an extra large, like a whole room of extra large things with like an extra large shelf. Like that spoon is 6 times bigger than it's supposed to be, and those are huge boots, and like that's a really big shelf. Biggest shelf in the world. I don't know. What did I watch today? I watched the Guinness World Record set for an 8-hour drift by BMW. Whoa. And what they did was they like redesigned the car to be refueled like they refuel airplanes in flight. Because they were like, this would be really lame to just rip out all the stuff in the car and put an extra big gas tank in it to then beat the previous record. So what's like some cool thing? So they had this guy's drifting for like 8 hours, and then they would like drive up next to him, also drift, and then they had a guy lean out the back window with the spout, plug it in, transfer like 20 gallons in 1 minute, and then keep driving until it was fuel up time. It was fucking crazy though.
Where was that? Where did that happen?
BMW did, I don't know, it was on the internet. BMW did it. I think the guy's name was like Jonas Meltzer, the guy, the driver of the setting it. This is the world's largest ice shelves, or the Ross Ice Shelf.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, but that's not what we're looking for.
Icebergs. How about actual? Let me put the word actual shelf. Biggest shelf? I don't know. What you think? You thinking long wise or just like large?
I think that you probably have a better bet finding one long-wise, like it's a museum or something with like a huge shelf that has a bunch of expensive stuff on it.
Longest shelf. I don't know. Probably also something ice related. Yeah, iceberg B15. It's all icebergs. They don't understand what I mean when I say shelf. You know, for as smart as the internet is, it's not that smart sometimes.
Yeah, the
AI and all that.
it is interesting when it like Alexa or like the Hey Google or whatever. It's pretty interesting to know what those things actually do. You know, my friend Joe has one, and you know, it knows all the songs that I want to hear. It'll look up, you know, all the stuff. It'll sing you a little song if you want it to.
Shit, you can get a wireless light bulb and connect it to your Alexa, and you can say, Alexa, turn off the lights. And your computer will turn off your light for you.
Yeah.
Like the fucking clap light. It's the clapper.
The Alexa clapper.
Clap on, clap off. I mean, that's crazy. You can have it like dim your lights, turn on mood music, cook food for you. You know, there's like electric stoves now. It's crazy. Robots now. You got your sex robots that can like cook food and stuff. It's pretty weird. Pretty weird future.
It is weird. A lot of stuff from sci-fi movies is true now.
As it has always been.
It's so interesting, and then it makes me think like which is one necessary without the other, like a chicken egg situation. Would we have made the iPad if we didn't see it in a movie and think that was a good idea to try to do it?
Sure. I mean, chicken and the egg. I mean, the question was never which came first, the chicken or the chicken egg. Because chickens evolved from something that was probably already, you know, made from chickens evolved from reptiles. Reptiles already lay eggs unless they birth live young. I don't know of any birds that birth live young.
I don't
So
know.
most likely the egg was around. Eggs were around before chickens were. Maybe not chicken eggs. Because like two non-chickens had to fuck and then make this mutated thing, which was a chicken.
Right, F1 hybrid.
But that egg wasn't a... Maybe that egg was the first chicken egg. If a chicken hatched out of the egg, it was a chicken egg from two non-chickens.
Sure.
And then, separately, that also had to happen again somewhere else for another chicken to hatch of a different sex.
Or
And then those chickens had to fuck
sure,
and make a chicken. And then that whole situation had to happen twice to allow it to continue to happen.
or the two different birds fucked, and they had the first chicken hatched out of the first chicken egg. And then maybe those genetics were all so dominant that it could have had, you know, bred with another non-chicken type, but the genetics of the chicken were so strong that it would keep, you know, showing.
It's possible.
I don't know. I'm not a chickenist.
Nor am I a geneticist.
I know enough to sound dumb, but not enough to.
I feel like I saw an article. They repressed the genes in a chicken that cause it to grow beaks. That's a specific gene, and when they did that, it made the chicken grow like a dinosaur mouth with like little dinosaur teeth.
Oh, weird. It doesn't surprise me.
Beaks are an evolutionary trait. Is what they were getting at.
That makes sense. I think the chickens look like dinosaurs anyway.
Yeah, those legs.
Gnarly.
I'm glad we don't have giant birds like that. You know, I mean, cassowaries, emus, ostriches. Those are large birds, but they're not predatory. Like attacking us like oh shit, man, there's like a fucking, what did they used to be called, terror birds, I think is what they were.
Yeah.
Like a 9 foot tall giant, I don't know, like a hawk chicken, the beak and large. That's terrifying. I don't want to. I already don't like smaller birds.
Yeah,
like a giant bird that could chase me around and eat me. It's no good.
even an ostrich, you know, I wouldn't necessarily be too keen on having an ostrich just hanging around our place.
I mean, I'm panicked when I see those videos when like a deer gets into the bank or whatever, and it's like sliding around. Like, oh no,
Totally.
I want a fucking ostrich in my house.
I
Can you
think
imagine living in Australia or wherever they have a lot of ostriches? Wait, that's not Australia.
Australia. I don't know where they have ostriches. Native.
Africa?
Sure.
Yeah,
Hold on, let's find out.
it's definitely Africa.
Let's find
It's
out.
got to be Africa. I mean, I'm from Arizona, and I know they raise a lot of ostriches there, but that's not where they're from. Emus live in like New Zealand. Cassowaries are a South American bird, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe ostriches are from the African continent. Maybe ostrich covers like 3 kinds of. There's only so many kinds of ostriches. I also don't know if ostriches, emus, and cassowaries are all in the same
Native
genus.
to Africa and formerly the Middle East.
Just one kind of ostrich?
Well, the Wikipedia for schools, the common ostrich is what it says there on the Wikipedia. Ostrich or common ostrich is either one or two species of large flightless birds native to Africa.
Two. So there's two kinds.
The only living member of the genus Struthio. 2014, Somali ostrich was recognized as a distinct species. Common ostrich shares order Struthioforms with kiwis, emus, rayas, and cassowaries. Well, there you go.
Kiwis, emus, rays, cassowaries, ostriches. Kiwis, that's a funny little bird.
It is a funny little bird.
They're tiny. That's what's strange that they're in the same family. Those other birds are like fucking large-ass birds.
Super
and kiwis, they're I mean, I've never seen one.
I haven't either.
I've never seen one compared to a kiwi, because I know kiwis are a small fruit, and I assume that the bird and the fruit are synonymous. It would be weird if kiwis were like really large, and we didn't know that.
Like big yellow birds, and you name a small, hairy fruit after them.
Yeah, kiwis, that's a good fruit, though.
It is, and my sister told me that you could eat the outside, just like an apple.
I heard that, but I don't do that.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that until she recommended it, and I tried it, and you know what? I couldn't really tell a difference. Like there wasn't enough,
It's got all those hairs.
Yeah, you would think so, right? But it didn't negatively impact the experience for me. So shout out to Marcy. Thank you if you're listening, Marcy, my sister. Thanks for the tip on eating kiwi skin.
Kiwi skin.
Gross. It sounds like a punk band.
I can't think of another good fruit peel. I mean, yeah, apples, pears, berries. You eat the skin, of course.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Grapefruit?
Orange rind.
I don't think so.
Just bite right into a banana.
Nope. I can't have bananas anyway, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's right. You got banana intolerance. You guys know about banana intolerance? It's like a lactose intolerance, and also similar to the cilantro intolerance. Some people are just genetically predisposed to say nuh-uh to bananas. And Kyle's one of those rare few.
I'm one of those rare few. And
do you have numbers? Do you have numbers on that? Banana. I can do banana intolerance if you want to talk about it.
It's something that affects hundreds, if not hundreds of people a day. And apparently, in my house, it's something that's hilarious. Everybody thinks it's really funny. Somebody else in the house is lactose intolerant. Oh, poor thing, that's fine. But Kyle's banana intolerant. Well, that's hilarious, I guess. Jerks.
I mean, you're right. We shouldn't mock your banana intolerance, although it is kind of.
I can't handle my bananas, all right?
It's
yeah,
real.
but it's no fun. I'll eat a banana, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up, and my neck doesn't breathe right. It's not
Quote,
dangerous.
An estimated 0.1 to 1.2% of the population experience severe banana allergy. Symptoms such as swelling of the lips and tongue, wheezing, cramps, and diarrhea typically occur immediately or very soon after eating the fruit. So
I'd get that wheeze going.
1.1 to 1.2% of the population. Let's just round it to 1% of the population, right? 1% of 320 million people is 3,000. Wait, 1% of
1% 320 million would be 32 million.
32 million people?
Sure.
32 million people are banana intolerant.
And I'm one.
You're
one
one
in
of
32
them.
million. Yeah, it's not fun because I like eating bananas. Banana and peanut butter on a sandwich, that's a good time.
Now, what about artificial banana flavor?
It doesn't taste like bananas to me.
I feel like I've heard that strawberry and banana are the same flavor, but it's the color of the thing that you're eating that makes your brain distinguish the taste.
I believe that. You see a lot of strawberry banana combinations in like yogurt and candy and that kind of stuff.
They go together well.
They do. On an ice cream, what do we call it? Banana split?
Banana split.
Oh, it's so good.
Because it's got bananas in it. If it didn't have bananas, it'd just be Neapolitan.
Yeah, it would just be a sundae.
And it's Neapolitan because it's chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, or whatever the combo is.
Right. Like, I used to work at Dairy Queen, and it was chocolate and pineapple and strawberry.
Pineapple?
Mm-hmm.
That's not pineapple and bananas go on a banana split. But that
Oh,
was
you mean the ice cream?
Yeah, the ice cream, Neapolitan, is strawberry, chocolate, vanilla.
Right. We just did the vanilla, unless requested. That was a long time ago, though. They probably upgraded since then. I don't know. They don't have a strawberry soft serve option there anyway.
What does Neapolitan even mean? Is that a place? Is it like
Neapolitan?
You're a fancy if you're eating Neapolitan ice cream? Neapolitan. That's a good word. Like sounds like politics.
Neopolitics. Ice cream.
It's a native or citizen of Naples.
Okay. Well, that seems right.
So they probably did like a gelato or ice cream over there.
Gelato's good.
Gelato is good. What's the deal with gelato? It's like extra fluffy.
Extra. I think it's made with more cream than regular ice cream. And most ice cream that you get from the store is 30% air anyway. It's just whipped into it.
That's right. I was like ice cream when it's cold, and then I was going to drink water afterwards.
Yeah. Ice cream. I heard that drinking the water can get rid of the brain freeze when you eat too much ice cream.
Drinking the water gets rid of the brain freeze?
That's what I've heard. I'm not sure. It's got something to do with like the soft part of the top of your mouth.
Definitely. I always just slide my tongue around the roof of my mouth a lot. Try to cool it down, even though my tongue is probably just as cold as the roof of my mouth. Because I don't have anything. I could put my fingers in there, I guess. I go to brain freeze, jams hand into mouth.
Ugh.
Brain freeze, that's a debilitating feeling, though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it creeps up on you all of a sudden.
You've had migraine headaches. Would you compare brain freeze to a migraine headache?
Probably a very a light migraine. Okay, so I would compare brain freeze to more like when you stand up too fast, and then you get that head rush, and then it kind of like pounds down your temples. That's what it feels like to me.
I'm like feeling my face, and I'm thinking now, like, obviously, the headaches and the brain freeze both. The brain is not feeling the pain.
Right.
It's got no receptors. But you've got like your upper palate, and then you get your sinus cavities. Are those on the side? Like I don't know how close to the upper palate my brain is. Like I don't know the distances there. But like it's literally pain from cold.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and then you've got like your migraine pain. Pain from cold is like I guess I haven't put too much thought into like how my brain chooses to experience the pain of cold versus like the pain of hot.
Yeah. The cold one, it's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit more interesting because you get a numbing sensation after a certain point of being cold, and that's when it can start doing the damage. When you get burned with something hot, it's hot the whole way through.
That's right. Like I've never snorted hot sauce or chili powder.
I watched some dude on the internet do that.
That seems like such a dumb idea.
It seems horrible.
Back in the day, I did used to snort methamphetamines, though, and I often have tried to explain to people when they ask what that experience feels like. I say, have you ever had a brain freeze from ice cream? And I say, just imagine that hot. And it's like, I've not put capsaicin into my sinus cavity or like filled my mouth with, I've not got a brain freeze. I've not got a hot freeze from eating spicy foods.
Right. No, it's not the same thing.
And like the way you get that feeling through your head is a very strange, like the brain freeze is a weird feeling. I've also gotten like the gut freeze or like the chest freeze.
Oh, that's worse to me.
That's definitely worse.
Take a big swig of ice water and you accidentally swallow the ice cube. You can feel that mother just dripping down. Ugh.
You're not supposed to get so cold inside.
Well, it's another interesting thing. You're talking about the spicy and the cold, and your brain is not getting cold from the ice cream because you don't feel anything in your brain.
Now, I'm not sure how far my brain is away from my upper palate, so there's a very real possibility that if I continue to suck cold things past it, it's going to transfer enough cold to literally get to my brain.
It shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't have nerve endings in your brain, though. I don't think.
No.
Or pain receptors, rather.
Regardless of whether or not there are pain receptors to tell if it's getting cold, it can theoretically get cold. Like
sure.
If I stood in a freezer for long enough, my brain would get cold.
Brain will get... got the old case of the cold brain.
I would die, but my brain would get cold.
And with the spicy stuff, it's kind of the opposite thing. It's like there's nothing actually hot and burning you. It's your brain having this response to like tell you it's hot.
And when you put like a boiling lava hot, let's say pizza pocket in your mouth,
yep,
it burns you.
It burns,
but you don't get a hot freeze in your head.
No.
You don't go, oh, it's so hot. I need to drink something cool to make the pain in my head from this hot thing that I just ate go away.
Do the
only cold
inward breath maneuver.
I've not really thought about that too much. That's pretty interesting.
I experienced a little bit of that lava hot yesterday. We had some crab wontons, fresh homemade.
Oh, that's right. Yesterday was the sports thing.
Yesterday. Oh, yep. So I guess
let's see if we can just talk around it. We watched that.
I saw a lot of interesting cosplay there.
They were sportsing, and the halftime kid was pretty funny. I don't know if you saw. There was a performer. He's a famous performer dancing. And at one point, he was dancing with a member of the crowd, and it was a young boy. And the young boy did not look. He does not care. Is what it looked like. And it seemed like he should have cared because he was kind of like he was like set up to be there at that time,
yeah.
And he just didn't give a fuck. He was like on a cell phone. He took a selfie. It was pretty funny that he didn't give a fuck.
I'm one of the few people that I know that doesn't have a cell phone. So like when I go out to places and there's people with the video camera taping a show or whatever, it could be a little bit distracting. But that being said, I think that that says something about the kids these days.
Well,
go to the Super Bowl and you're going to get on TV at the halftime show and you're going to be futzing with your cell phone.
Well, noticeably, he was futzing with his phone, but in moments where the performer was at the front of the stage and everybody was rocking their hands back and forth, not only did you notice that everybody had the same exact bracelet on, but nobody was holding cell phones up. And at every live concert I've ever been to, at the front of the stage, people are holding cell phones up, like because they're getting that footage right there.
Right,
there was not one.
There's been a thing, and I don't know if the Super Bowl people do this, but there's certain performers that they won't let you take your phone into the place. They make you check it at the door or whatever. Some comedians I think do that, and that's interesting that because I didn't notice that part. I noticed obviously the kid in the front with the big fat cell phone, but
he wasn't in the front. He was like up in the bleachers. So do the people who attend the halftime show, are they not also Super Bowl attendees? Because all those people in the stands, at one point he was like, hold up your phones, and you could see everyone's phones glowing because you don't do lighters anymore.
Oh, there you go.
So they all had their phones up there, but then down there in the lower area they didn't. So maybe someone here was like, I bet all those people are paid to be enthusiastic fans.
Right.
And of course they wouldn't have a cell phone in their pocket to hold up because it's not their job. It's their job to appear to be like fucking just loving the show, as opposed to like people filming, I'm front row with the halftime show and I'm filming the thing. Like you just didn't see it happening. Maybe I didn't see that. I'm sure it did happen, but it looked very much. It was a weird halftime thing as well.
Yeah, it was weird.
They didn't do the holographic prints,
which I appreciated the fact that they didn't. I thought he just passed away. They were having the thing in Minnesota. And it's like, to pay some kind of tribute is expected or,
sure,
whatever. But I'm glad. I'm not a fan of the hologram thing. They're doing a Frank Zappa tour this year with a bunch of the old members of the band that are still around. And they've got a holographic Frank Zappa going. And it's very bizarre to me.
I've not been to any holographic performances, so I do not know what they look like. The concept is intriguing. I wonder what it looks like.
Yeah, I definitely wonder what it looks like. But at the same time, it's like I'm like I've mentioned before, I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, and there was some talk when they were doing their 50-year anniversary tour of holographic Jerry Garcia, and that doesn't appeal to me. Like the man's dead. Let him be dead. If you want to play his music or if you want to do pay tribute in another way, it's like trying to recapture that which is definitely gone. He's dead.
You should only do holograms of living people.
I'm
imagining some sweet concept where like you're still alive and you've been around for long enough to have gone through enough band members to put together several different bands that were your band, and then you play one show and have like a holographic pickup on your one show, and those other bands simultaneously are playing shows without you there, and holographic you plays with your band at the other shows.
That's an interesting idea.
Like broadcast everywhere. Everybody gets to see your performance at the physical show that they went to, and your hologram is playing at multiple shows at the same time.
See, I like playing shows, but there is something appealing to me about maybe not having to go out and drive a whole bunch of miles to go get to the show. If I could sit in my little hologram booth and play a show to people elsewhere, that would be interesting. I mean, you missed that human connection thing there, but it's the mountain hermit in me. It appeals to the mountain hermit in me.
Sure. I mean, and then, I guess they get into like, what's the point of going to an exclusive show? Because then you just see like, I want every place, every venue has a camera set up to play all shows. So anytime anyone wants, anyone can look at any show that they want, and you don't have to leave because you can watch the show from the, what do you want to call, like your surveillance footage. Every place has a camera, so you can just watch the show. Like, sure, going to the show is more fun than not going, but that's the whole point of being able to watch the things. It isn't necessarily the same type of fun, but at the same time, a lot of people don't have the energy to go out to a show that starts at 10 at night and dance for 3 hours or whatever. They do like they simulcast concerts in movie theaters. The orchestra, symphony orchestra, or like once a year they do a Grateful Dead meetup. Various different things, and it's like, no, it's not going to be the same experience, but you're gonna get to kind of nerf your way through it. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay for $8 for a bottle of water. And you get to still see the same thing. Theoretically the same everything music that you would hear there, but on a little bit of an easier pace. I mean, it's not a bad concept. It's really convenient to be able to like hit the space bar, go take a poop, come back. I'm sure that there are some movie endings that I've not enjoyed as much as I should have because I really wanted to go to the bathroom.
Sure.
But like, my code requires me to sit through the whole movie and not take any breaks.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
At the theater.
You go to the theater, and when I go to the theater, I want to, I don't want to get up to go to the bathroom if I have to, because you might miss the one cool thing, or
exactly.
the thing that's going to make the whole movie make sense.
It's important.
But then at the same time, I'm sitting there with my legs crossed, not being able to pay attention properly because I got to pee.
It's a paradox. It's a terrible paradox.
Horrible.
And that's why watching movies at home is so nice.
It is
you
nice.
You just get the space bar. Back in the day, you had to pause the VCR. You had to pause on your Laserdisc remote. I never had one of those.
I never had. We had one at school.
Yeah, we did. We watched. God, I can't ever. I talked about this. Maybe someone listening will know. We watched videos in 7th grade, and it was on the Laserdisc, and it was about a boat. And they were going to study whales, and then they got like shipwrecked on an island, and they had to survive. And everything, all the episodes of it were like scientifically educational. It was like the voyage of the something. No one else ever had to watch that in 7th grade.
I don't remember that.
It was like 2 kids and like an old man and a lady.
See, 7th grade for you would have been like 5th grade for me, and that's when I have the most memories of the Laserdisc. I remember there was one about the ocean, but it was more like what do you call that? Planet Earth, where it was kind of just exploring the kind of stuff, and there was no story or anything like that. That's where I found out about the cuttlefish.
It's a good fish.
Interesting little creature. The ocean's pretty scary.
I was just going to say, it's pretty scary. I went on a cruise one time when I was a kid, family, and I remember not even really thinking about the ocean so much. And like now that I'm older and I've like read lots of like, like eldritch horror stories and like watched plenty of YouTube videos about all the things I wash up on the beach. And the ocean's definitely not comfortable. I mean, I feel like lakes are even a little sketchy.
We're not designed for that environment,
I mean, yeah. We
can swim, sure. We can't breathe underwater. We got no fighting chance against running from a shark when we're in the water or anything. Anything that lives in there. That's not what we're designed for.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe holding my breath has something to do with it. Like I'm only comfortable dropping so far down into the water before, well, A, I don't know what the fuck is down there.
Right.
And B, like I have to get back up. Like my brain knows I can hold my breath for X amount of time. I need to be X far away from where the air is by the time my body feels a certain way, or it's danger mode.
Yeah, panic mode. Totally. I remember going to the bottom of the deep end of the pool when I was a kid, and halfway back up going, "Oh shit, I hope I make it."
Yeah, and
I did.
It's a scary pulsing feeling
Yeah.
in your lungs, and like, fuck, I was in Central City, Kentucky, and we went to some quarry, and we were diving in it, jumping, and it was good times and fun, and it was daytime, and the water was like pretty clear, and if you went down far enough, you could see like poles, or like you could see like straight objects that were like clearly not organic. They were like grown over with stuff, and the kids were saying there were like cars and like old like fences and just like
Sure.
junk and stuff down there, but you could like almost see it, and like that was just like way too spooky.
It is because you can't. What's living in there now?
I mean, definitely snakes. Definitely poisonous snakes. Like, do I think river monsters are real? Probably not. I think we would have caught some because like richer people than me also believe in things like that.
Yeah,
and are about it. They've been looking for a Loch Ness monster for so long. They never found it. It's really a bummer. Bigfoot, never found it. Really a bummer. We could really use a good monster catching.
Yeah, people don't seem to be as into that as they were back in the days of VHS. It was easy to make a grainy footage picture of Nessie or a Bigfoot. Nowadays, they got 12-year-old kids with a keen eye for Photoshop. You're not getting away with much.
Right. I mean, I guess if you think like hundreds of years or go back further, people were still like discovering animals and like they were like, what the fuck kind of fish is this hagfish thing? Oh
Yeah,
shit, like
gross.
that's a sea monster. Oh no, that's actually like a real 30-foot long fish. Blah 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 blah. Or like we've discovered all the things. It's not true to say the ocean is 70% of the Earth's thing. We know less about the ocean than we know about outer space. But like I feel like we haven't had a really good like a stat. There's like there's no more continents to discover. There's not like it would be like with some underwater city inhabited by like pseudo intelligent octopi or something. I don't know. There's no like what's the new like whoa thing. Like science is looking for planets out there. Sure, that's cool. Definitely, that's like some new discovered stuff. But we've like mapped the whole planet except for down in the water. We don't really put that much energy into it.
Yeah. Still haven't found Atlantis.
The Abyss.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Good movie. Won Academy Awards for that Donnie Darko water tunnel thing.
Yeah, that was revolutionary visuals at the time.
Fucking Ed Harris.
This James Cameron.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that was his like test run for the visuals in T2.
That makes sense. Totally makes sense. I think Christopher Elliott is in that movie. He's like a guy on the boat or whatever. Did you ever watch that TV show? We did.
Yeah, we did watch that.
It was bad. He was so annoying. What was the show called?
Oh, I don't remember. I just watched a video on YouTube about him the other day.
Best thing he ever did was Cabin Boy.
Cabin Boy, hands down.
Who directed that movie? I wonder. That was a good fucking movie, man. Everything about that movie was good. I suppose in retrospect, there's like a lot of like bad jokes.
Well,
Maybe
then
it's not as good.
It was. I'm sure. I haven't watched that movie for at least 10 years, so I don't really remember too much of it. But there's a lot of stuff that you can't get away with. People don't let you get away with in movies and comedy these days that you definitely could back then.
David Letterman is in that movie.
Yeah, that's right. He's like the peasant guy.
He says, "Would you like to buy a monkey?"
Yeah.
The sock monkey. It was a very like niche moment in comedy and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good. Well, see, I don't know if they're actually good movies. Well, I enjoyed a lot of those goofy comedy movies in the '90s. Ace Ventura. I don't think it's a good movie though.
What's a good movie?
Hmm.
Right, because I feel like good movie quantifies different movies for different things depending on what the movie's going for. Sometimes, and then there's like a whole thing about a good movie that is good for things other than what it was going for. Like,
yeah,
if Ace Ventura as like a fucking social commentary, probably not a good movie. Ace Ventura as like a romance drama, probably not a good movie. Ace Ventura as an action film, there's something to be said. Ace Ventura as a comedy,
that's it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
there's no way you're not laughing at some jokes in that movie.
It's silly. It's definitely silly. But then there's movies like The Room. You know, it's a popular movie that's not good, but everybody, well, not everybody. It has a cult following. You know, people like it, even though they know it's a bad movie, quote unquote.
Sure. That's like, yes, that's different in that that's like a self-financed movie. Like Ace Ventura had like Hollywood behind it.
Dan Marino was in that movie.
You know what I'm saying? Ace Ventura had a lot
Tone
going
Loc.
for it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of things came together for that movie to be that movie. Like The Room, extremely low budget.
A lot of things came together to make that movie. $6 million or something.
When you think about films produced, edited, directed, and starring the same guy, like that's a very small collection of films, you know.
Totally.
And generally, they're not that good. The one that immediately pops in my mind is Primer.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
Good movie about time travel. Like $10,000 to $30,000 budget, directed, produced, starring the same guy. I don't know about edited.
Yeah, man, that's in my opinion, that's a good movie because you watch it the first time and you want to watch it again. You know, and after you watch it the second time, you kind of have to watch it again just to get all the details. And in my opinion, you know, that's the mark of a good movie, is one that you want to watch again and kind of develops more the more times you see it. You know, like I watched the movie It, and I really liked it. But then I was thinking to myself, why did I like it? That's, you know, it wasn't, you know, the most intellectually stimulating movie I've ever seen. It wasn't, you know, the most graphically appealing movie I've ever seen, whatever. But it stuck in my mind. And I watched it again, and I enjoyed it. And you know, a lot of people seem to have enjoyed that movie, but it was, you know, that's kind of what influences me to recommend a movie to somebody, is if, you know, if it's good enough for me to want to watch again and get something out of it the second or third pass.
The Room is a good example. Charlie Chaplin.
Okay, yeah.
Directed nearly all of his own films. Orson Welles, Citizen Kane, his directorial debut.
Not the best movie. That's not, you know, not necessarily a popular opinion, but I fell asleep the first time I saw that movie.
Yeah. I'm not a fan myself. Tom Hanks has directed himself several times. John Cassavetes, Rob Reiner, directed and was starred in Spinal Tap.
Oh, sure. That's a good movie.
Marlon Brando starred and directed in One-Eyed Jacks. Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, directed by William Shatner. Young Einstein, directed by Yahoo Serious.
Oh, man.
The Room, of course, is on that list. Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee. $1 Million Baby, Clint Eastwood.
He also
Sling
did
Blade, Billy Bob.
Oh, sure. And that was a remake of his, like, it was an independent film first, and then they remade it with a big studio. I think he was in the original one too. Henry
V, Kenneth Branagh, Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood.
I think Gran Torino should be on there for Clint Eastwood too.
He's got a couple on here. Bronx Tale, De Niro. Wasn't the best list. Oh wait, it might have been bad movies. Freddy Got Fingered, Tom Green.
God. See, that's a movie that came out around the same time that is, like we were talking about, like Ace Ventura and stuff like that. But it's a funny movie, haha. But it's, you know, I think that's a worse movie than Ace Ventura.
I did not see this, but in 1990, a movie called Quick Change, directed by Bill Murray.
Huh. Well, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that film.
I'll take a look at that.
I thought that there would be more movies on this list.
Well, like you started off saying, it's you know, it's a big undertaking to write and direct and star in a film, and you know, the people with that kind of balls are few and far between.
It's a lot of ego.
Sure, I can understand that, but there's also something to be said for, like, actualizing your vision. You know, it's not that I'm better than anybody else, but I'm the only one that can do this the way that I see it in my mind.
Annie Hall.
Sure, I like that movie. And is it bad to like a movie like, you know, a lot of people don't like Woody Allen because of one reason or another. I don't think that influences me personally as to whether or not I'm going to consume their art. You know, Michael Jackson, they had all those allegations of the inappropriateness with children. I still love his music, you know, but I kind of have this weird feeling like, is that okay?
I mean, that's That's a tough one. I think that's like a pick your battles kind of thing.
Sure.
Some people are cool with some of the scenarios and not cool in some other scenarios.
Does the benefit outweigh the...
Ooh, like, I wonder how many things are part of, like, everyone's common everyday usage that were, like, created or invented by, like, some terrible person.
Sure.
Like, some piece of a cell phone. You know, some guy's got the patent, and he's, like, a serial killer or something. And like, hey, don't use those things. Gotta use some things. One time I met a lady. She didn't want her child to be influenced by anybody's alcoholic tendencies. So, like, you know, like in the woods, she wouldn't let her kid talk to anybody who had been drinking that day at all.
Sure.
Sure, I get that. I respect that. She said she did the same thing out in the real world. And so how can you do that? Like, do you not let your kid listen to any music? Do you, like, breathalyze the guy at the gas station or the grocery store? Like, how do you censor yourself without being a hypocrite?
That's a tough one.
Mel Brooks. He's directed and was in most of his movies. Oh, Leslie Nielsen. Oh, wait, no. Still Mel Brooks. Yeah, directing and being in your own movies. Woody Allen's killing it on this list. Tell you what.
In all his movies, I don't want to say all of his movies, but a lot of his movies are very similar to one another. You know, I think at that point it is a case of ego because
he's like scorned by a woman and then falls in love with another woman while dealing with the troubles of the woman that he was already in love with. That's like the thing. That's the thing that happens.
That's the thing that happens. And you know, Annie Hall, I like that movie. There's a couple from him that I like, but you know, they get very formulaic. And I saw one. I think it's called Whatever Works, with Larry David playing the Woody Allen role, and that's let him do it. Why do you have to be in all the movies that you write? I think it's ego.
Alejandro Jodorowsky directed and starred in The Holy Mountain.
Oh, well, sure, but that is another example, I think, probably of he's got this vision and
Dennis Hopper directed Easy Rider.
Interesting. That's a good one.
That is a good film. I could probably talk about movies for a long time.
Movies are tight.
A big part of our lives.
Yeah. I don't see as many movies as I used to.
I used to work at a movie theater. I used to see a lot of movies.
Yeah, I used to have my buddy's brother used to work at a movie theater, so I had the same thing.
Worked at the Harkins theaters. We had the movie phone.
Oh, nice.
It was great. I got to work the window, and so I got to work the window, and we had the little microphone attached to the box and the big piece of glass. And turns out that so when I had that job back then, you couldn't just put music on a cell phone. I had a phone, and it was from Amped Mobile, AMP''D, a very short-lived company.
Sounds intense.
I won the phone at like some bullshit, and I had it, and so like my minutes were like on like a speedometer gauge, right? And it would like show like, oh, I only have so many minutes left, and like their customer, like, I will not fault them for this. Their customer service was so good. I would call them up and I'd be like, look, dude, I have to have my phone on for business. Like, just credit me like 20 minutes, and you have a kudos program? And they'd be like, yeah, we have a kudos program. I'll give you a super recommendation if you just give me a couple of minutes on my phone. And invariably they give me minutes, and invariably I'd recommend them. So like, had a really good deal going. But that was the first phone that I ever owned that had the capability to upload MP3 files to it.
Wow.
And like, you could only fuck around with it. Like, it was like you click it open, boom, files, and like you just go down and play. There was no like song titles or anything. It would just say like blah blah blah, whatever the MP3 was titled. Very basic technology, but I could put music on the phone, and so I would put my speaker inside of the thing next to the music playing out of the phone and just blast the outside with music, and like they had to listen to what I was playing. It was very 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 ego fulfilling.
Totally.
That was a great job. Yeah, I got to see one free movie a week, and then I would just like leave the side door open, sneak people in.
One free movie a week? That seems...
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm sure there's plenty of movies with empty seats more times in the week than that you could just...
I mean, you're already watching, like, you can watch as much of a movie as you can fit into your work schedule of just, like, standing there and watching a movie. You know, like, you can see a whole movie for free over the span of a couple of days.
In pieces, yeah.
Take cigarette breaks and stuff, because it's, like, it's going to be playing again tomorrow.
Yeah. There was a time in my life where I would go to... They had these movie theaters that was like maybe 15 miles from where I lived, and they would play first run movies, and it was only like $4, and so we'd go there all the time, and we'd see any movie. I remember that. Oh man, what year was that? I don't remember. I remember There Will Be Blood was like the movie of the time when I was going to do that. That had been 10 years ago or something.
I have like such a strange blur of cinema memories. I have like all these memories from working there. Like someone had put a mattress on top of the movie theater at some point, and like you could get up on top of the theater through a very elaborate set of like jumping from the parking garage. You had to do a bunch of work, but you could get up there next to all the neon and like just chill or whatever. And like it was like a known space. I have memories of like the first movie I ever walked out of was Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, mine was Van Helsing.
We like, oh man, I had a Nokia brick phone, and we went to go see Jurassic Park 3.
Ew.
And we parked, and unbeknownst to me, my phone fell out of my pocket. We went and got tickets and had to go smoke weed before we go watch the movie. So we got back in the car and we drove away, and we smoked weed, and we came back and we parked. I get out of the car and I look down, and I'm like, oh, some idiot got their phone run over. Oh, that's my phone. And I go pick it up, and the phone was like all fucked up. Still worked totally fine.
Problem.
Those brick phones, they were indestructible.
Yeah.
I went and watched that movie. I had to leave. It was so bad.
Jurassic Park 3.
One.
Yeah. Ugh.
I was like,
that's the one with Vince Vaughn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go back to the island to find the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Vince Vaughn is in the second one, I think.
That's, I should know that. They just looked that up the other day. Because we couldn't remember if Jeff Goldblum was in the second one, but he was.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum.
I remember when the first Jackass movie was at the theater, and they had checked your ID at the place where they took your ticket, but then they also had two dudes like bouncing, like two bouncer dudes at the front of the theater, so that before you went in, they made sure you had the right ticket. Because the Jackass movie, that was bad for youth, for the youth at the time.
I'm remembering the movie theater at the mall. And I'm remembering being too young to go see R-rated movies, and like the concept of trying to sneak into them exists in my mind. But I don't remember seeing any movies. But I do remember a large poster for JFK when that came out.
Oh, sure.
I don't know why that's my memory of that.
Yeah, I mean, but typically when we would go to the movie, it was easy. You'd go see what movie was playing, at a similar time that was PG-13 or lower, and then you'd buy the ticket for that and you'd walk in. But when they got hip to that for the Jackass movie, they had guys standing there that made sure you had the right ticket. Mm-hmm. So we did the old stub-in routine. We had two people that were old enough that had tickets, and they went out to the bathroom and gave one guy a ticket, and then he'd go in with the real one. Hustling. Such rebels, man, sneaking into R-rated films.
Hustling. I mean, didn't the R rating used to be 16, and then they changed it?
That would make sense because NC-17, you have to be just as old to see NC-17 as you do to see R.
I recall a change in the system from my youth. What?
Well, okay, so when we were kids, there was no such thing as PG-13. I think the first PG-13 movie that they rated, or no, like the last one that was on the edge, I don't remember, one way or another, Gremlins was involved. The first Gremlins was involved because I think it was rated PG, but then it was too gruesome for that demographic, so they made the PG-13.
The movie, the MPAA, I feel like I don't like those guys.
I feel like I don't like them too because, there's a lot of creative sacrifice that goes into appeasing them.
Yeah, definitely. The cutting and the recutting and I feel like I have some anecdote of the South Park movie or something.
Yeah, okay, South Park is a good example. When they made Orgasmo, when Trey Parker and Matt Stone made Orgasmo, they submitted it to the MPAA, and they said, no, you're going to get an NC-17. And they said, well, okay, can you tell us what we should cut out to get it down to an R? They said, no, we can't do that. That would be censorship. We can't do that. It's an independent film. They financed it themselves. And so they cut it, and they submitted the recut, which every time you submit a cut to the MPAA, it costs you thousands of dollars or something like that for them to review. And so they submitted a second time, and it still didn't get the R rating, so they said, fuck it, whatever, and give us the NC-17. Flash forward a couple of years, and they're making the South Park movie. And it's got studio funding. They got an actual finance company, whatever, behind them. And they submit the first cut to the MPAA, and they said, yeah, that's going to be NC-17. And they gave them an itemized checklist of all the shit that they needed to change in order to bump it down to an R. And the funny thing is, in like interviews with them, they'll say that they took all the things that they didn't like and they made them a little bit raunchier just to piss them off because they could submit it a bunch of times if they wanted to, and they accepted it. So it was like the extra raunchy shit that didn't make it or that they amped up to like avoid the NC-17, got it down to an R.
It's all like in like the context and phrasing and stuff. Like
Yeah.
You can like be pissed off, but you cannot piss on someone.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Weird, strange usages. Like there was the whole being able to say shit on TV.
Mm-hmm.
South Park had the episode about being able to say it because it was NYPD Blue.
Yeah,
got to say it or something. And then like I feel like I don't hear shit on TV that much anymore.
I don't watch much TV
so
anymore.
Often that I don't even notice it. But I will agree. I also do not watch. Right now, I'm exclusively watching CW superhero TV shows.
I've been going through some anime lately. But yeah, at any rate, neither one of those is really going to be, a good standard for, pushing the edge of television. The two shows that come into my mind when I think about it are like Sunny in Philadelphia and South Park. You can't go through an episode of either one of those without having them curse.
Right. I mean, I would say that the word shit is a word that I use a lot in the everyday, and not in an intentionally offensive way, but it's in my natural parlance. And so I think that the ability for people on TV to use that word in dialogue gives TV the chance to sound more lifelike, which I always appreciate in any of my visual cinema that is telling me a story that is not factually based. I like it to be
real. Yeah.
Like,
sure, or feel real, I guess.
I would like it to feel real. I understand that like a big blockbuster is gonna like when they explain the plot to you, like through their own dialogue. It's like so annoying.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to do that. There's no reason to.
You mean you stole that car because it had the only solution to the problem?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Like pandering to the audience. I get it. Like you want everyone to like you. I made this movie for 6 people. Only 6 people are gonna get it, but God, they're gonna think it's the best movie they ever saw. Like I can respect that, but I don't think that's the kind of movies that I would enjoy.
Yeah, we saw the movie Mother. You watched that, right?
Mm-hmm. We talked about this a little bit.
We talked about it a little bit, and that's one of those movies that there's not a whole lot of blatant exposition. There's a lot of, pretty much the whole story is an allegory. But you look at the reviews for that. I think it got an F- from some, one of those movie ranking places.
Without being totally like surreal and detached and non-linear. I can't name one of those movies off the top of my head, but I guarantee that there's movies that make like 0 sense that have no exposition as well.
Right.
It made some sense. It's
for some people, and a lot of times the thing that surprised me about that movie Mother was that it had a wide theatrical release. It had major financing behind it, and it's really at its heart it's an art house feature. And those are good movies, but there's a reason that they don't make millions and millions of dollars. It's kind of a niche market.
What did I read? Adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind is the highest grossing film of all time.
That's crazy.
It would be at like 1.85 billion, and Avatar is just slightly over Titanic, which is like 1.02 billion or something like that. My numbers aren't factual, but adjusted for inflation, it would be the biggest.
I'll pop the numbers
film
up.
of all time. It came up in an article about, just like we were talking about, going back and watching things not as good. The article was like 10 super racist movies that your parents love. And like Gone with the Wind was in there, and like Breakfast at Tiffany's. Mickey Rooney's like wearing like prosthetic Asian makeup.
Yeah, he's very, very racist. Like by today's standards.
Yeah. Nowadays, you can't make movies like you used to make them. And it's probably good. The reverence held for those things is maybe not good, or is symptomatic of like the choosing to not see the bad in something because of the good.
Yeah,
the good that it brought
I can see that.
To more than yourself. Like,
it's
they're racist, and like Mamie is in Gone with the Wind, and she won the Academy Award for reinforcing this like black servant stereotype. Mm-hmm. It's this great movie. Oh my God, it's this great movie. Like, there's problems with it. Those things were wrong. Everyone knew that those things were, some people thought those things were fucked up then, and like now that retrospective view says like it's a little harder to watch this.
It probably makes it more difficult. Well, I don't want to say more difficult, because it makes you think twice as a creative person what you can and can't say, or what people will and won't appreciate. And on the one hand, like I can understand that being kind of a stifling to the creative process. Like if that's what you want to make, and you're not going to get as much of a reaction, or you're going to get a bad reaction where you're not looking for one. But at the same time, there's a lot of things in comedy specifically for me. Like I really think that a comedian that can be clean and still funny is generally funnier than a comedian who's funny and dirty or racist. Yeah, definitely. Because to me it just seems more like creative. You can still say the same thing, but you got to dance around it and kind of make it, a little bit more
definitely intelligent.
Intelligent, sure.
Without being highbrow, I think
right.
is important.
Like Jerry Seinfeld's a good example of that.
Sure, I'll take that. Makes me think about hip hop, and like one of my favorite times of hip hop was the intelligent hip hop thing in the 90s.
Sure.
Hieroglyphics. Like we don't really need to curse a lot. We can like talk. We can show off our skills and use our skills to devastate you without having to reduce ourselves to cursing at you.
Right. I don't necessarily agree with this, but I've been told in my life before that cursing is a sign of not intelligent people.
I've heard that.
Or low intelligence.
I think that like there's moments where like I would consider myself to be an intelligent person, and when I'm the most upset at someone, like in like an uncontrollable fit, like I think sometimes I am just reduced to curse words.
Sure.
But like before you get to that like incomprehensible moment, I'm capable of like wide range of like nasty things that I can say. Whereas I think like maybe some people who are not capable of like seeing situations, scenarios play out, being able to elucidate or eloquate themselves are reduced to just like fuck your mom.
Right. I mean, because at that point you're already at the most guttural level. It's already the most. At that point it's at the most. A caveman. It's gonna be. Fuck your mom. Like, well, okay. The intelligence is clearly no longer being.
Sure. I would say
considered.
I would redact my statement, and I would say that intelligence is not a precursor for extensive cursing abilities.
Right.
I think it's a talent, even.
There's that video or sound clip or whatever of the guy that's talking about the word fuck and all of its uses and all the ways that it's an verb and it's an adjective and it's a noun and it's a pronoun and all this and that. Mm-hmm. And that requires some intelligence to be able to like cultivate that whole thing and put it together. And it's hilarious and it's dirty.
That's right. It's also, I guess, when I think about cursing, I'm thinking about like just being able to like consistently curse for a very long time at someone.
Takes
right?
some
like,
skill.
What is the phrase? Curse like a merchant marine. Like you. You keep going. Like I don't know. I feel like in my mind I hold space for like when we hear people cursing in a foreign language, like they are really fucking going off.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing up in Arizona, definitely heard a lot of people yelling at other people in Spanish, and like it sounds like they're getting a lot in there. And I feel like it's really hard to string together a lot of curse words in English.
I feel like Joe Pesci is pretty good at it.
The Rasha Frasha.
Yeah. And that's cool too, because he could do the PG version for Home Alone, and then he can do the R-rated version for Casino or Goodfellas.
But was he really cursing for long periods of time, or was he just like saying some really biting things?
I don't know. I'm sure a little melange of each. There's a lot of curses thrown in with other stuff.
Joe Pesci released a music album as My Cousin Vinny. Yeah. That's good trivia there. I'm sure it's not good.
I'm sure it's not good. There's a lot of famous people that made a lot of bad records.
Oh, Don Johnson.
I see. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, he did that. It's not good.
Bruce Willis made music for a while.
Oh, yeah? Keanu Reeves has got a band, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does.
That's right.
There's that
Russell Crowe's
Jared Leto, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, yeah. He got famous with that stuff, too.
Well, he was,
He's the most famous of any famous person with music that I can think of.
I saw a video, I don't know, it was probably some one-off band or something, but Alice Cooper was singing, and Johnny Depp was playing the guitar.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was far out.
Famous people in bands. It's like, why you gotta do that, man?
I get it. I totally get it, man. Because I totally get it. If you're an actor, you're kind of already living that rock and roll lifestyle, and it's like you're gonna sell out these shows just because you're Johnny Depp playing. It's not.
Sure.
They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it to,
Have a good time.
It's a good time. Yeah.
Rocking is good.
Yeah.
We rocked one time. We rocked somewhere, and there was pyrotechnics.
That's right. That's right. Unbeknownst to us, somebody floated a boat out in the lake behind where we were playing and set off some fireworks at the pinnacle peak of this one song that we were playing.
They didn't know that was going to happen, though, and we didn't either. And so they knew they were setting the fireworks off, but they didn't know we were going to pinnacle when we did it. And man, that was a really nice moment.
That's one. Yeah, that's one of those moments that you can't duplicate, nor would you want to. It's it did a thing to my brain that playing the music alone wouldn't have done.
That's right.
I got the goosebumps, the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I kind of we kind of dragged it got to this peak point, and it kind of slows down right after that, and we kind of let it hang right there until the fireworks stopped. And I don't know if it was something that it was involuntary. It was just like we had to let this experience kind of wash over us and figure out what was happening. It was cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Shout out to Big Bend and Iron Reservoir.
Yeah.
End of the summer party. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the end of the summer party. Big Bend.
Good times.
That was good times.
Pyrotechnics. Yeah, pyrotechnic display. When I was traveling with these kids, Brad and Dylan, Dylan would play the banjo, and Brad would spit rubbing alcohol on fireballs,
Mm-hmm.
and their hype was like, who besides Kiss has pyrotechnics like this? And wicked banjo solos and fireballs. I guess, I don't know. I can't think of a lot of bands with sweet pyrotechnic displays. I went and saw Guar one time. It just had a lot of blood.
Lucky.
There was no explosions.
I went to see Bigwig one time, and he put some lighter fluid on his cymbals and lit them on fire. But that was, not only was that dangerous because it was a very small place, but it wasn't that cool.
I saw a band at the Bud Bar in some town in Missouri that had a bar called the Bud Bar, and the band was the Whistle Pigs. And after set break, the stand-up bass player lit the side of his carbon fiber bass on fire, and then it was flaming. He spin it around, and that was pretty cool too. Flaming instruments, it's so dangerous.
It's very dangerous. there was a club in Chicago that burnt up because some pyrotechnics thing went wrong, and the doors were chained up. I mean, it's just scary.
Now that I'm thinking through, I've seen a lot of smoke machines and a lot of lights, but aside from. But no, I don't think I've ever seen fireworks for the guy on stage, for the band on stage. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, like AC/DC used to have a cannon type thing with those about to rock, and then they fire, blast the cannon off.
Rocking. I feel like maybe Rob Zombie probably had some pyrotechnics at his shows or something. I don't know. I never.
I used to go to see hockey games or whatever in the Chicago Wolves. I don't know if they're still around, but they used to have the intro thing, and they'd shoot off fireworks, and that shit is loud. Shooting off fireworks inside a place, that's super loud.
Super loud. Oh man, when I first moved to Tempe, Arizona, every time the Sun Devils score a touchdown, they shoot a, I don't know if you can see it from in the stadium or not, but it goes boom, and totally didn't know about that, and it was just in this new apartment, and all of a sudden it's fucking cannon fire going on outside, and I'm like, this is a college town, what the fuck? It was very jarring. And then you'd remember, you know what it was, but you'd forget that it was game day or something if you hadn't been in town to see 1,000 golden t-shirts walking around,
right.
And like, oh shit, what the fuck, jarred again, there, and it would be happening. Sometimes it'd be on a roll, and you get 3 of them in 15 minutes. What the fuck is happening?
Unsettling. Yeah, dangerous.
Living in that football town is weird. People that are obsessed with football, that's a real intense thing.
They got some big time dedication, some of those football fans.
I remember walking past Sun Devil Stadium right as the game was getting out, and then thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people in gold t-shirts were all going towards this parking garage, which was now behind us because we walked past it. and like everybody's going one direction, and me and this other person are going the other direction, like literally holding hands, like wading through, like everybody looks the same. It was very surreal experience that I was only able to have at the college town. Thanks, football.
Thanks, football.
I never played football. I had to play some little football in rehab, and that sucked. I got smashed.
I played some football when I was a youngster. It's fun, you know. It takes a lot of work though. You got to run and all that shit.
I had glasses the whole time. If I catch the ball wrong, it's gonna hit me in the face, get smashed. It's gonna, my glasses. If I take my glasses off to go play sports, can't see the people and all the things well. It's just not
yeah, sports are not for people with visual
Some sports
problems.
Aren't.
That's true. I mean, I think that any sport you'd be better at if you could see with 20/20 vision.
Sure. Horace Grant had goggles.
He did.
Glasses,
A
goggles.
very iconic look.
He was good too, wasn't he?
He was good. He was good.
That's right. There's lots of sports. Chess is a sport.
Yeah.
You
Fishing.
have glasses on for that.
Yeah.
In fact, you might have to take your glasses off to play chess.
Depending on your prescription.
What else is a sport that's maybe not really badminton is a sport?
That's fun.
I've played that before in high school. I played it less than 2 years ago, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Badminton. Mm-hmm. When I went to visit my partner and her husband in Pennsylvania, we visited their friends who had just had a baby on their like rural farmland or whatever, very nice property, and they had set up a badminton net, and we played badminton and fucked them up. Badminton.
Badminton.
The thing is called a shuttlecock. Good jokes. Good. That's what we got.
All right. Well, on that note,
That was a good one. This has been a good one. Here.
yeah, I had fun for this one. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and share this around with your friends, or don't. Thumbs down if you didn't like it. Talk some shit on the comments section down below.
Give us recommendations. Maybe like we could have a routine or something. Maybe we'll have a plan. Should we have a plan?
Well, we didn't today. I knew I wanted to talk about something, though, the food bank.
Yeah, we just talked. The chocolate joke. That's a good joke. That's a good question to pose to the viewers. Last time I looked, I think I saw almost 50 people had listened.
That's, I'm blown away.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Massages our egos to no end.
Totally.
And yeah, should we have a plan or should we just keep freewheeling it? I sort of asked the internet today, but I didn't even look to see if anyone said anything because you guys don't matter that much. So,
you matter to me.
You guys matter to me when it matters.
When it counts.
When it counts, you matter.
All right. Well, then,
All right, then.
Until next week. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.